I want to tell you guys this really crazy story, and this thing is going to go to left field. Wait a minute. That's right. To left field real quick. This all started over the weekend. I was on Craigslist and I was looking for puppies. My fiance told me, she said, "Hey, Joe, you know, I really want a puppy." And me being an animal lover, of course, I was okay with this. I was super cool with it. You want a puppy? Sure thing, baby. I got you. What kind of dog do you want? I want a little puppy wiener dog, whatever those things are called. Let's get a puppy. Little did I know at the time how hard it would be to try to find one of these puppies. I still haven't found one yet. A little puppy wiener dog. If anybody knows where I can find one of those at, please let me know. And then go ahead and throw into the mix how expensive a full-bred, purebred wiener dog is. These things are like $3,000. $3,000 for a weenie dog. Hey, baby, let's go look at the SPCA. Maybe they got some puppies there. Yeah, some of these dogs, they're pretty expensive. But with the fact that I was having absolutely no luck locating one of these dogs at a reasonable price, I mean, we checked the pet store, and they had a little weenie dog mixed mutt type of puppy in there for $1,600. Hey, baby, you don't really want that dog, do you? But again, I had checked pet stores, OfferUp, Facebook Market, and also Craigslist to no avail. But it was while I was on Craigslist and having absolutely zero success trying to find any type of puppy that we might be interested in, I decided instead to try to search for some prison-related stuff. And my God, I could have never been prepared for what I was about to stumble upon. Now, before I go telling you all about this, there's some things I have to say first. You know, when I saw what I'm about to share with you, I thought to myself, Joe, you have got to purchase this item. And you see, I think that's a major flaw that I have. You know, sometimes I'll see things and I will immediately really want those things. Maybe that speaks to the addictive mentality that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. In the past, it used to be used in a really negative way when I was knee-deep in addiction. But nowadays, I think that addictive mentality sort of plays on like my wallet. Because sometimes I'll see things and I'll be like, Joey, we got to get that right now. We can't leave here without that. Oh my God, they got a Ford F-350 jacked up to the moon with 35-inch tires. I've been looking at a lot of trucks lately and it's taken everything in me to not try to go out and get one of these things. But this item that I saw on Craigslist was another perfect example of just that. When I saw it, I knew immediately I had to have it. Unfortunately, I can't afford this. There's no way in the world I can afford this item at all. When I found it, I immediately ran to my fiance like, "Hey, baby, look at what I just found on Craigslist. I gotta go get this right now. I got it, but I can't get it because I can't afford it. God, life ain't fair." I'd like to say that I'm kidding and it wasn't really like that, but there's a good possibility it probably was exactly like that. In fact, I was so infatuated with this item and I was just, it was coming out of me. It was really coming out of me like when I used to be an addict. You know, you would do anything. If you don't have any money at all, you'll do anything to get that next fix. And this thing that I found on Craigslist was most certainly that fix that I was needing right there. And I would be lying if I sat here and told you that I did not consider setting up a GoFundMe campaign and asking all of you out there if you would help me purchase this item. I was thinking to myself, in that moment, I was like, if only less than half of the entire APS army kicked like $5. Hey, Joe, man, you all right, man? You looking a little crazy, man. You're looking a little crazy. What other kind of videos are up here right now? Oh, Mr. Beast just hit 4 million subscribers. Shout out to Mr. Beast, though. I know all of this has probably got you wondering, Joe, what in the God's name are you talking about? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what I found on Craigslist for sale that we could potentially buy together if I was to set up this GoFundMe campaign, and I'm totally kidding. I'm not going to do that, okay? I was just kidding about that. Even though I've already created the thumbnail for the GoFundMe campaign, I'm not doing it, okay? But ladies and gentlemen, what I found for sale on Craigslist was this right here. A legitimate posting of an actual prison for sale. When did they actually start selling prisons? Owner financing. 60,000 square foot former prison in Northeast Colorado. Condition like new. Now, you know, I know what you're probably thinking when you're seeing this. You're probably thinking, Joe, this is a scam, this is fake, and this is something that I probably shouldn't be clicking on. And I gotta be honest with you, when I saw this for the first time, I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, where in the world, obviously in Colorado, but what in the, they got a prison for sale on Craigslist. And they've also put the condition up here like new, which I'm gonna be a hard sale on that. It's gonna take a lot to convince me this prison is anything like new. Obviously, this prison was operational for probably a number of years, probably a lot of years in fact. So there's no way this could really be like new. But then, I got to looking at the pictures of this place because there are a ton of pictures associated with this Craigslist posting. And I will be damned if I'm not looking at these pictures thinking to myself, that condition really does look like new. They got a nice little gym inside of there. They got some cages here. We got the visitation right here. You can see the plexiglass and the phones. I gotta be completely honest with you, this was an absolute first for me. Never in a million years did I think I would get on Craigslist and see an actual prison for sale. And remember how at the beginning of this video I told you this thing was gonna get to left, I keep going right, to left field real quick. Well, I promise you, when you hear everything that I'm about to tell you, you're gonna see exactly what I mean. Now, when I first saw this posting, I had to do more research. And well, that first started with the rest of this Craigslist ad. This ad goes on to say that they're selling this prison for $20 a square foot. It's about an hour's drive outside of Denver. And they say that they're willing to be creative to sell or lease this property. Now, when I first read this whole being creative in an effort to help sell or lease this property, I automatically assumed that what they were trying to say is, hey, come buy or lease this prison and we'll turn it into whatever you want to turn it into. We could turn it into a paintball or laser tag place. I mean, really think about that. If we were able to purchase a prison, what exactly could we do with that? I mean, there's probably a whole lot we could do with that. And we could legitimately create like an end-of-the-world doomsday community there. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other things we could do with a prison as well. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. If After Prison Show was ever able to purchase a prison and we did so, what do you think we could do with that place? The property size is 60,000 square feet. The property's history, this facility was built in the mid-1980s. So you're talking about a prison that is 38 years old right now. I had to make sure my math was correct right there. So you're trying to tell me like a 38-year-old prison is still in a condition like new? The facility was built in the mid-1980s. The last female inmates left in 2010. And that is another crazy point to bring up about this prison that's for sale. This was actually like a high-security female prison. They've got blueprints and aerial shots for this property. Property highlights include high security facility, 8-inch precast concrete construction wall, ceilings, floor. This facility is designed to withstand an F5 tornado. My God, that end of the world doomsday community sounded like a better idea with everything that I read about this high-level female prison that's for sale on Craigslist. They got a 4-inch water line, a 3-phase electric fence. I'm pretty sure that's what they're talking about there. It says 3-phase electric. Emergency generator, wet fire sprinkler system. Property is located in an industrial park in some place in Colorado. And lastly, the price tag on this prison, which is $1.2 million. I just ain't got me no $1.2 million, and if I did, I gotta tell you, I'd be hard pressed to take that money and just go buy a prison with it. But that is the price tag for this facility. And another thing that I learned from this ad was that this prison is being sold by a company called like Refurbished Materials or Recreated Materials, something along those lines. A company that takes things and turns them into other things. In fact, they give a couple of examples with some other pictures showing like 55-gallon drums that they've turned into feeding troughs for animal and livestock. And of course, if you've got a company that takes things and turns it into other things, well, a prison would be something pretty good to have in your wheelhouse of things that you were selling. Because I'm telling you, there's got to be like a million different things you could do with a prison instead of just warehousing people inside of them. You could potentially open it up to the public as a tourist attraction. You can make it a school for kids who are troubled and on a path that could potentially lead to prison. What better way to prevent them from going there or even help prepare them for when they get there than having an actual school for them inside of a prison? Hey, you going to school today? Nah, I'm going to prison. Hey, ain't school and prison kind of the same thing though? Now, when I first saw this posting, and it's probably because of my addictive, compulsive nature, I immediately had to do as much research as I could about this place in an effort to find out, one, if this was real and not something that I probably shouldn't have clicked on because it's about to melt down my computer. And two, I was really wondering if there was any way that, possibly After Prison Show could acquire for itself its very own prison. But it was while I was doing the research that I learned some absolutely crazy things. Like how this whole Refurbished Materials or whatever company it is that is actually selling this prison isn't the original owner after this place shut down. In fact, there was another guy who purchased this prison after this place closed down. And what he wanted to do with this place was turn this prison into a pot factory. Colorado man buys former prison hoping to transform it into a pot factory, the story says right here. Nick something is vying to turn an abandoned prison into a marijuana growing facility. If the town of Brush's motto, homegrown happiness, holds true, buds will be sprouting in no time. That, to me, is the most ironic and crazy thing I have ever heard of in my life. To think that while you were serving time in prison, if you got caught with some pot, I mean, there's a good potential they could take you back to court and add more time onto your sentence. But again, this abandoned and closed down prison is in Colorado, and I'm pretty sure weed is legal there. It's just the damnedest thing for me to think that there was a guy who bought a prison hoping he was going to be able to turn this place into a weed farm. But a weed farm this closed prison would most certainly not become. In fact, I read another story that said, former prison in Brush, Colorado will not become a marijuana grow operation. City council votes to keep pot ban in place. Now, if that's not crazy enough, thinking that there was a guy who bought a prison after it closed down with hopes to turn this place into a pot factory, well, let me go ahead and tell you something else that's pretty damn crazy as well. And I learned this from that same story I just shared with you. And what exactly I'm talking about is how much this guy Nick paid for this prison after it closed, hoping that he would be able to turn it into some kind of a grow operation. Nicholas Enker, I'm going to try to pronounce this guy's name at this point, of nearby Fort Morgan bought the prison for $150,000. Wait a minute. This guy bought this prison back in 2014 for $150,000. Wanted to turn it into a grow operation. That didn't work out. Ended up selling the prison, and I'm not exactly sure what he sold this place for. But now here, 4 years later, in 2018, there's this company that's selling this same exact place for $1.2 million. Or 88 bitcoins, like I read in this other story. And yes, this prison is actually available for purchase using cryptocurrency. What exactly is the markup from $150,000 to $1.2 million? I'm guessing you're talking something like 1,000%. Something close to that. I am no math expert, but I think I'm pretty correct in saying that that might be, or maybe 100%. I don't exactly know. 1,000 or 100. All I know is to go from $150,000 up to $1.2 million, though. I'm about to hit this guy up who's selling this prison on Craigslist and be like, I just read a story with a guy who bought it before you only paid 150 grand. Why are you trying to sell this place for 1,000 times more money? I'm not exactly sure myself, but that's some pretty crazy stuff to think about. And as I was doing all of this research, I also realized, this is not the first time that a prison or a jail has gone up for sale. In fact, I ran across 2 other facilities that both were for sale. I think one of them might still be for sale. The other one I think finally sold. Both of these are in the state of New York. And the one that actually sold, let me go ahead and share this one with you. Jail for sale. Prison hits the market at a bargain price of $390,000. $390,000, $150,000. Both of those numbers seem a lot more doable than $1.2 million. The story would go on to say that it's not often that a 262-bed, 75-bathroom home, they're calling this place a home. This is an actual correctional facility that they're actually referring to as a home. But they say that it's not often that a 200-plus bed, 75-bathroom home goes on the market, and certainly not for the bargain basement price of $390,000. Now, this facility actually used to be what was referred to as Camp Georgetown Correctional Facility in Madison County, and they say that this place closed its doors to prisoners last year due to state budget cuts, and this story is a couple of years old, so this didn't actually happen just last year. But this place closed its doors due to state budget cuts and is now offered to potential home buyers with a grisly taste in real estate, or for avid hunters wanting to take advantage of the 31 acres of rural land that are a safe distance from the nearest neighbors. Now again, this facility first went on the market for $390,000. And I'm not exactly sure how much time it took. I'm sure it took a couple of years. But this place finally did sell. And it ain't sell for no $390K. In fact, this place sold for $241,000. And the future of this place is unknown. But think about that. $241,000? That's like the price of a home, or an average home, or maybe a little bit less than average home. I mean, $240,000, that's what people buying their houses for. To think that you could get a 31-acre property that sleeps 260 plus people with 75 bathrooms for the same exact price, that's a pretty damn good deal if you ask me. The crazy thing about this facility in particular is that when this place finally did sell, this was the third time that they had had an auction day for this prison. And in fact, at the first 2 auction days, nobody showed up at all. And it was at those previous 2 auctions that they say no one offered the minimum bids of $390,000, or I guess at the second auction, the minimum bid was $250,000. Well, it was at this third auction where this place finally did sell, where the minimum asking amount, the minimum bid amount for it was $90,000. We're gonna have to keep our eyes out for a prison. Because you know what I've learned from all of this, from first just looking for puppies on Craigslist, then searching for prison and finding a prison for sale, which basically unboxed this entire Pandora's box of really useful and interesting information, is that if you're patient, and that's something that I definitely have a hard time being, but if you are patient, you could potentially purchase a prison for the absolute low. I mean, just think about this for 1 second. What if After Prison Show actually bought our very own prison? I can see the headlines now. Former ex-prisoner, convict, scum of the earth, superstar YouTuber purchases his very own prison. Or maybe something to the likes of that. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got some laughs from it, and also some pretty insightful and interesting information as well. And if you did so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about it. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, nor ever forget to let me know if you guys find any of the little wiener dog puppies for sale, or any other kind of crazy prisons that are for sale either. And make the most of every day.